Hello, beautiful souls. Before we get into any messages, I just wanted to take a breather together and just settle in and get comfortable. Close your eyes if you feel like it, and imagine this waterfall of white light pouring over the top of your head and flowing through down to your jaw, your neck and shoulders, just releasing all the tension you have there. And then feel it dropping into your heart, clearing out your lungs and all your organs, down into your belly and your sacral chakra. And then just feel those roots from the earth coming up to ground and balance you so that you're connected above and below. And yeah, shake off anything anything you might be feeling. So before we get into, I don't know why I felt so like it was really important to mention some protective herbs and plants. Bay leaves, bay laurel is really common. You can burn these for protection, use them in like satchels, or put them under your pillow at night. They're one of the strongest protective herbs. And then we have witch hazel, which is also known for clearing out energy that doesn't belong to you, undoing like hexes and stuff like that. Mugwort has a similar function. You can also use this in a satchel, and it's very protective and grounding. Angelica, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, it's used in protection and exorcism incenses. I sprinkle the perimeter of my house with angelica for protection. Milk thistle seed is another one to add to like a little, like I have these little protective satchels. This one, like I embroidered a little sigil on, but you could also just, you know, write an intention on a piece of paper, like I am protected, and any magical work done against me return to sender. I don't know why, I felt like someone needed to hear that message. And lastly, like the big guns is rue. Rue is really like known for breaking any curses or black magic that people might have done. Some symptoms, like how you know, well, don't take this like you could have these symptoms and there could not be a curse on you. I don't know why, I just felt called to share this. But like some symptoms of like someone doing magical work against you are if you're feeling unusually tired, irritable, like throughout the day there's just little things that seem to go wrong, or like you have a streak of bad luck. Don't ingest rue though, and if you're pregnant, don't touch it. But you could also put this in like a protective satchel. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for someone. If you've been feeling like yeah, something's off, then call in the spirits of these herbs and yeah, be the magician. You can never have too much protection. And then another message that I just wanted to share before we pull some cards is I was feeling this energy of like there might be people or situations that feel a little bit stuck in your life right now. Like you don't necessarily have control over like the time frame of these things ending, but trust that whatever situation you are still currently in is ultimately like working on you from the inside out to align you with what you've been calling in, all of those new beginnings and that fresh start. I just got like this feeling too that this new year, like specifically January 1st, 2024, which is a 10-day, and the number 10 tarot card is the Wheel of Fortune. So it really made me think of like karmic balancing. Like if you've been doing the inner work, if you've been putting out love and service and kindness to others, then I guarantee you are if you're watching this video. So I feel like the new year is going to bring you all of those new beginnings. But yeah, sometimes when we're still in an undesirable position, there's still things being like shifted within us. We might just be like closing out on some lessons, or like the Wheel of Fortune 2 talks about the ending of a cycle. So trust that you're still in the right place, and everything will happen for you in the perfect timing. So yeah, don't put so much pressure on yourself. And then I have this alchemy guidebook. I have this like alchemy oracle deck, which is one of my favorites. I have the cards here. It's by Kim Kranz, and I just wanted to read a little bit out of the intro. I really love like the story in this. So it says, an alchemist knows and summons the symbolic resonance of color. They revel in the pleasure of the senses and in the unexpected pairing of opposites. Power awakens through polarity. And then she talks about how like her art teacher was an alchemist, and she was like failing this project that she's working on. Like you can see here, working on this like huge sphere here that was supposed to have another little sphere suspended inside of it, and she was really frustrated with the project, and she goes up to her teacher to tell her she's never going to be an artist and she's just going to fail the class. And she said, instead, what came out of my mouth was the truth. My parents are getting a divorce, I said. She sat in stillness as I cried. In a few moments, she asked me to look out into the studio and describe my abstract sculpture to her. Though confused, I did my best. It's a big empty sphere splitting in two, and there's a smaller sphere floating inside. Yes, she said, the materials tell the truth. That is the secret of art. You are the sphere inside. You have made exactly the thing you needed to see. What do you mean? I asked. Finished your work, she said. Before she left that day, she said, I bet you thought you were working on a sculpture. Maybe the sculpture has been working on you. I just love that story so much. And I feel like that relates to, you know, any experiences or situations you might be in that feel like something's gotta give and you're ready to give up. You are that sphere inside. There is something about your current circumstances that is bringing out the part of you that needs to be present for this new beginning to happen. So yeah, I hope those messages resonated, and then I will pull and shuffle some alchemy cards before we get into the tarot. So beautiful ancestors, spirit guides, guardians, and protectors, I ask that you flow through me as a conduit for divine messages and help me communicate clearly and accurately whoever's watching most needs to hear right now. Okay. Let's see. Oof. We have winter. Yeah, I was just talking about like the dark night of the soul too, and how that void stage can be like really painful and barren, but that's where the growth is occurring beneath the surface. We're also in winter right now. I feel like this could be a significant time for what you've been desiring to come in sooner than you expected when you release that resistance to whatever you're currently going through, and release like the blame and the self-judgment, or going over in your head how you could have done things differently. Hindsight's 2020, so forgive yourself and acknowledge that it took a lot to get where you are now. So yeah, winter's almost, it's just a season in your life, and it really is like, this blue is like the only color that's coming out in the card. It really is activating you and your higher self. So do we have any more alchemy cards? Let's see. Oh my gosh, they're like the same color. We have Virgin's Milk. I've actually never pulled this one before. I'm so sorry. Let me glance at the guidebook. That's so weird. It says here, just one drop of black virginis can be medicinal. It can help the alchemist act as if. Know your measure. Yeah, I feel like this is also, it's so crazy how similar these cards are. They have like the same star on top and then the blue color coming through. I feel like you don't see the transformation that's taking place right now. All the magic that's happening around and within you, because you're in this state of like darkness, of not seeing the total picture. But this feels like the first flower that blooms after, you know, that period of coldness where there's not really any life. It's not harvest season, and then, like, you know, the first rose sprouts and you remember that time is not as like, we're more in alignment with the earth, with the cycles of our own life than we realize. So again, I feel like this is a card of surrender and purity. Like, it's like mystical that a virgin could, you know, produce breast milk, but it's almost like the alchemist's elixir. Like, you don't have to search so hard for it. You already are and contain this like mythical elixir this life-giving, potent, like dewdrop of divinity within you. So yeah, it's really beautiful how these cards are so mirrored, but they're really different energies. So it's almost like whatever situation you're currently in, the winter is actually providing the perfect circumstances for that first drop of your manifestations, your alignment with your destiny coming in. So trust where you're planted right now, and yeah, keep going within, because that really is the most potent magical tool that we'll ever have as ourselves. So you are the magic. Yeah, and I'll pull some tarot now. I have this glow in the dark tarot deck that I opened and I was so excited to use, and none of them glowed. And I read you had to put them in the sunlight to like activate their glowiness. And so I had taped all 78 cards around like my windows and moved them throughout the day, like as the sun moved. Oh my gosh, so much work. I was babying these and they still don't glow, but we love them anyway. So let's see, so guys, what's the collective listening need to know right now? What messages do you have? Okay, we have the Two of Swords again. Got that in our last reading. The Hierophant and the Knight of Wands. Okay. So in this like crossroads or place of feeling like there's been no movement, but there's so much like mental activity going on, and it seems like you can't see clearly down whichever path you choose. You don't know the exact outcome, and again it feels like that resistance energy, like almost being paralyzed for fear of like making the wrong decision, for it reminds me of like head versus heart in this instance specifically. But then it's interesting because the Hierophant is this spiritual leader. He's like, you know, the priest, the mystic, the keeper of the keys in his community. The two keys below him and the two pillars represent knowledge of astrology and numerology. So he holds all of this esoteric wisdom, and it isn't head versus heart. If you take those moments to come into balance with yourself, to center yourself, then your brain and your heart will actually physically attune to the same wavelength. They'll be on the same frequency. And then the Knight of Wands is that like powerful rushing in energy. He's the fastest moving knight. The knights can symbolize like communication, or an offer coming in, or some new opportunity that you didn't expect. That first rose that blooms after the darkness. It's like when you drop that resistance, when you take off the blindfold, when you know, shut off all your electronics, and I need to practice what I preach, and you take those moments for yourself every day to make sure that you're in sync before you even step out into the world, you will start to feel so much more in control, in alignment. And it's not that facade of control where that like anxiety and tension is constantly in the back of our head, like, well, what if things don't go the way that I expected them to? And the Hierophant knows, like, well, then good, it wasn't the universe has something better for you. There's something else that's like more in alignment with this new beginning that I feel you've been working hard for a really, really long time to create for yourself. So yeah, when you feel stuck between these two swords, remember that that's an illusion. That's like, you know, our fear-based mentality or our societal conditioning telling us that we don't have the answers. But the Hierophant doesn't need any like external validation, or he doesn't question his authority. He has these two keys instead of two swords. So remember, you are the alchemist. You can turn those conflicting thoughts into like the answers that you're seeking within yourself. But first you have to acknowledge your power and embrace it and own it. And, you know, sometimes I'll even use the affirmation, like, I call back my power from people, places, and things. So, you know, it's all sorry, I don't know why I say this a lot, but it's not coming out in words. But yeah, just basically calling back your power. I've also heard that you say affirmations 3 times, once to the physical world and twice to the spirit world. So I call back my power, call back my power, call back my power. And then close your eyes. You could even do it right now. And look down the path of those 2 different outcomes. Like I was saying in the other reading, it's not a right or wrong way. It's just a different way of getting where you're supposed to be. So yeah, with the Knight of Wands too, it's like he has that clarity, that passion, that confidence and drive, that he's like quickly taking action. There is fast forward movement, but I feel like part of it, or that getting to this outcome of like feeling that confidence and a surety and seeing everything that you've been desiring manifest, involves like first surrendering the outcome and then acknowledging your own capability of choosing most wisely for yourself. You've always had the keys. You've always been connected to source. You do have these leadership qualities, not only in your everyday life, but you have that esoteric ancient wisdom that's waiting for you to stop invalidating it when, you know, those thoughts or inklings or remembrances come up. It's like as soon as, you know, like, so for an example, I was like, why am I gonna talk about these herbs? Like, the chances of someone doing black magic on you are very, very slim. But I don't know, I felt like someone needed to hear it. So I've been in the routine of trusting my intuition and then like leading from there. And then through those little steps of trusting ourselves more, of saying, okay, well, I'm not crazy. You know, I had that intuitive inkling for a reason, so I'm just going to go ahead and follow it. And that is what opens the door to more and more movement, embracing this newness, embracing your new, transformed, courageous, and confident, and blooming mystical self. Yeah, I was trying to check the back of the deck. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we have the Six of Wands on the back of the deck. That's the card of victory, of like overcoming any obstacle. It's funny, I think it might be actually bay laurel that like that person is crowned with, like the symbol of achievement. It's like the Olympic Games winners wear the laurel wreath, I think, or that was like how the tradition started. But no matter what, you can't go wrong. It's like abundance is your birthright, and victory is assured because you have been doing the inner work. You have been connecting with your inner self. You have been following those intuitive nudges and seeing the path unfold before you. So I feel like sometimes those remnants of doubt can come up most strongly before we're about to like make that final transition, or that final like step across the finish line into the new chapter. So remember, when those fears come up, or when you're doubting yourself the most, just remember that there's a part of yourself that needs reassurance that you've got this, that you are supported, that you do have this divine spiritual protection around you that is keeping you in alignment with where you're meant to go. And yeah, the victories you're meant to experience this next year, especially. So yeah, I hope that these messages connected with you. I hope you're having a beautiful day or night whenever you're watching. You can book a personal reading with me at resonantessentials.com. I am Lauren under the practitioners, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.